Hello, Craig. Hello, Daniel. With the new Fantastic Four's First Steps coming out soon, and by the time this comes out, I think the movie will already be out, but doesn't matter when we're recording it, hasn't come out yet. We already talked about the first slew of Fantastic Four movies from 2005 and 2007, so it's only fitting that we talk about in 2015 they released Fantastic Four, or as everyone calls it, Fanforstic, which was met with universal disdain. So here we are 10 years later. What did you guys think of Fanforstic? Or Fantastic Four 2015.
So I want to say this kind of makes me feel a little old because I remember tracking the production and the disaster that it was 10 years ago.
Yes, I have a tab open, ready to talk about all that.
So it's kind of funny because remember I tracked all of the production problems and I was like, wow, this sounds horrible. But I never actually saw it until we recorded it for this podcast. I've seen the clips, I've seen the memes of it, but I've actually haven't sat down and seen the whole thing beginning to end. And to answer your question, of course, it's not good.
Yeah, I actually watched it in 2015, not in theaters, but I watched it on the computer, so I did watch it. And I rewatching it for this, I remembered nothing about it. Daniel, what about you?
I thought it was
Oh,
fantastic.
God.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah, it boasts a 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb, a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 1.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So this movie just got dragged through the mud. Rightfully so. It's not a good movie. And they got everything wrong from the start because, of course, we're going to be talking about the major production problems, such as the director, the many instances of studio meddling, script rewrites, the reshoots, everything we'll get to soon. So, Craig, I'm going to start with something different. What did you like? And then after that, tell me a brief plot synopsis.
What did I like? Oh my God. Is there anything to like about this? Because I can't think of a single thing.
Not
Oh,
really.
actually, I did something I liked. And it's nothing to do with the movie, but they referenced the 2007 New York Giants. That made me happy. That was about it.
Okay. I had to mention Eli Manning, too. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Makes me feel very old.
I can't even say the cast is good because everyone just looks bored and depressed, and obviously there's the behind the scenes drama going on where I believe Josh Trank allegedly was just screaming at Kate Mara a lot, and then he was getting into it with other people. So I could see why maybe she looked bored and uninterested. I wouldn't blame her.
Well, it wasn't just her. I mean,
It was
apparently
it was
the
a, it
guy
was a
played.
lot. Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
people he was screaming at. But I know they said he made her cry a couple times or something. Just gonna say it, this Josh Trank guy did not sound like a good fella.
I mean, do you really want to go into all the.
Well, give me a brief plot synopsis, and then we can get into all the drama.
So, as a child, Reed Richards develops a teleportation device, and everyone at his school thinks he's stupid for making a teleporter. They actually point blank tell him you're stupid, and they disqualify him from the science fair. And he gets brought into this think tank by Sue's dad, and
Franklin,
they
yeah.
eventually. Yeah, they eventually make the teleporter. They're idiots. They go in. It's a horrible accident. They all get powers, and then they get recruited by the military to do special ops. Again, there's like the special ops thing everyone seems to have. And then eventually they rescue Doom. He goes on a rampage, killing everybody. They stop him, and they form a team, and it's fantastic, the ending.
Yes. So I guess at this point, Craig and Daniel, we should talk about the major production issues. And I have a tab open to chronicle through all this nonsense that did happen. So I asked ChatGPT to succinctly tell me what happened. And it says number one, director versus studio clash. Josh Trank, who did have a movie called Chronicle, which was pretty okay. It was that gimmicky movie where it was all
The found
found
footage.
footage. And if you watch the movie, it did not need to be found footage. There's nothing that called for that kind of style to happen. It wasn't like, let's say, Blair Witch Project, where I mean, I personally hate found footage movies. I think they're really tacky and usually really bad. But at least you have to have a reason for it to be found footage, and that movie did not have any reason. Because at the end, at the climax, the main character's holding all these cameras in different angles, and then it was cutting to all the different camera angles. I'm like, why just shoot it like a normal movie? What's the point? They said,
It's stylistically designed to be that way.
yes, off of his success of Chronicle, Fox wanted a grounded, gritty reboot, and Trank reportedly had a very specific vision, which was dark, moody, body horror inspired by Cronenberg, which is the guy who did The Fly, which is that disgusting, it's a good movie, it's that disgusting movie with Jeff Goldblum. The
Yeah.
studio disagreed with his tone, which then they clashed almost immediately, and Trank resisted these changes, and then Fox reportedly panicked when the early footage wasn't what they wanted. The script went through several rewrites, even during filming. Key action scenes were removed or rewritten due to budget cuts and studio interference. Notably, the third act was written and reshot without Trank's involvement. This includes the jarring final battle in the Planet Zero wasteland. Trank's onset behavior. Reports say Trank was uncommunicative, erratic, and sometimes destructive. Allegedly trashed a rented house. Now, I do remember hearing about that all those years ago. He cost, like, I think somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 of damage in his rented house. He kept to himself and clashed with cast and crew. Fox reportedly limited his creative control mid-shoot, and then Trank later admitted to having anxiety issues during productions, but disputes some of the more extreme stories. Reshoots were a mess. Extensive reshoots took place months after principal photography. Kate Mara's wig in the reshoot scenes is famously awful and visibly inconsistent, highlighting the last-minute nature of the fixes. Tone shifted awkwardly from sci-fi horror to generic superhero fare. Marketing withheld the film, so everyone was pretty tight-lipped about it for months. The cast wasn't even allowed to talk about it in interviews. And then there was Trank's infamous tweet where he said, and I'm going to quote him on this, I don't want to misrepresent what he's going to say. "A year ago, I had a fantastic version of this, and it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's reality, though." And then apparently Fox knew about the tweet ahead of time, and they begged him not to post it, but this guy, being the genius he is, did it anyway. So then the film bombed critically and commercially, and it was just a disaster from the start because they never agreed on the vision.
Well, I want to add to what you were saying. So the original scriptwriter they got, he was a big fan of the Fantastic Four in the comics, and he had a more, I guess, comic accurate
Is this
script.
Jeremy Slater or Simon Kinberg?
The Slater guy.
I would not trust that man.
Well, point is, he would write the script, he would give it to Trank, Trank would give it to the studio, and then he would not give the writer the studio notes. So he was like basically going back and forth between them
I do
and
remember that.
not saying, like, being a horrible middleman, not telling the other side what the other side was saying.
Right, I do remember that. Well,
And again,
I don't trust him, even though what happened to him is terrible. He did write The Lazarus Effect. I guess he wrote this. He wrote Death Note. He wrote Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. And he's writing Mortal Kombat 2, so I don't trust this guy. So whatever he was probably going to write wasn't going to be good anyway.
okay, well, the point is, he was not being a good middleman. He apparently has talked about how much he hates superheroes and how much he hates the Fantastic Four. So I don't know why you'd pick that guy to direct your movie.
Yes, it's a classic case of, ooh, this guy had a hit movie. Let's get him. And it
Probably 'cause
was...
he's cheap.
Well, because they could bully him. So...
And then they bullied him good, I guess. He was acting out.
I just don't understand even considering a tone of darker and depressing for the Fantastic Four. They are not the engine for that. They're supposed to be explorers, go on these grand adventures, and you want to go with dark and depressing.
And body horror.
Yeah,
Because
They
this
have some
movie-
scenes of that.
Yeah, because this movie, I was surprised by that, watching it for the first time, of Doom just crushing people's heads and making them explode.
Oh no, the body horror was with Mr. Fantastic.
Well, that too, I did feel they were trying to make the audience uncomfortable by them getting these powers. But I was more shocked too with Doom just making people's heads explode as he's just walking through the halls so casually.
Well, Dano,
Why'd he-
the
Imagine
big folly
imagine a
with that-
parent bringing their
Hold on.
kids to this and then just blowing people's heads up.
The big folly with that is that he does that against all the scientists. They're all lined up like a school line, and he's just killing everybody. And he never decides to do that at the end against our four heroes.
That would have been convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have to be wearing some kind of special helmet? Well, to Craig's point earlier, the beginning was so weird because this little child made a teleportation device, and
I
everyone
hate
just...
the child genius trope.
Well, okay, so I was going to ask. I think in the very rare instance of it ever being a good idea for child genius, I guess you have to kind of give that to Reed Richards because it is unanimous, at least against with all the comic book know-it-alls, that Reed Richards is the smartest guy in all the comic books. Probably aside from the one above all and all that nonsense.
Like in Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, at least as ridiculous as it is, you kind of have to give it a pass that the smartest man in the universe of Marvel is a child genius. So it's just what the teachers did. They're, oh, what is this? This is the child's play. You're forfeited. Even though the guy built a teleportation device.
The principal did say, "Oh, you're disqualified. There's no
This is
science
magic."
behind this. This is magic." Did you not just see the thing disappear and reappear?
Yeah, that's where I was more like, all right. Like,
It almost
what's
felt
going on?
comical. Like, are they trying to do a parody or something? Because
Yeah.
it's so, like, I can't imagine somebody, like, if I were to see a teleportation device, even if a 12-year-old did it, I'd be like, oh my God.
What
Like,
have you done?
yeah, like, how'd you do this?
Well, Craig, I'd be remiss of my duty. They mentioned that there's a nice callback to It's Clobbering Time,
Ugh.
where Ben Grimm's older brother at the junkyard they live at
Oh yeah.
beats him up, and that's his call to arms. It's clobbering time.
Hey, clobbering time.
And he beats up his little brother.
See, that's why someone like this should not be directing this kind of movie. As someone who's cynical, I can't imagine he's got a very positive worldview to have that be where he gets his catchphrase from. Like, it's a clobber time. It's supposed to be a silly, comic books are a little more lighthearted.
The '05 one did it so much better with
Yeah, it
the
was a little
toy.
toy. That was a
It should be
prototype.
his catchphrase or something.
You don't need to explain his catchphrase. He just
At
has
least
it.
don't make it from child abuse.
Well, no. How old is the older brother?
He's getting abused as a child by his brother.
That's true. I'm not going to defend that. Never mind.
I know what you're trying to say, like, oh, maybe, but
I was going to say it's not a parent doing it. It's a sibling, but still, it's not good nonetheless.
yeah, the constantly getting beat up by your older brother, and
Yeah.
like he has a catchphrase when he beats you up. I goes, he abuses a child because I can't think of why someone would ever even think about that.
So Doctor Doom. Well, hold on. Before we get to Doctor Doom, Doctor Doom over here.
Dr. Doom over here.
How everyone gets their powers is that when they go to this planet Zero. First off, we got to back up even more.
Kind of, you gotta back up even further. Like the
There's a
fact that he
lot of
wasn't
things.
always called Doctor Doom. He was supposed to be a blogger
Oh,
and
originally,
programmer.
yes. I do remember that. I remember you telling me about that all those years ago. But they changed that because they have a paper that has his real name. I was going to say, after they do the teleportation thing, they decide on a whim that they want to do it because the higher subordinates, they're saying, let's get NASA, like the correct thing to do. Let's get adults who have a special experience. They are astronauts. Let's get those people. And they're like, no. Let's get drunk. And on a whim, let's do it. And they go on this planet Zero. They lose Victor to this, not yellow, this green mass in the ground that lights up. And Ben becomes the thing because rocks get into his little containment as they're teleporting. Johnny's window breaks and then he gets set on fire. I don't even remember what happened to Reed. So it's very on the nose on how they get their powers. Oh, rocks get into his thing. Now
One's
he's
on
a giant
fire.
rock monster.
I don't think they showed Reed anything special happen to him except when he tried to get to Ben after and you see him stretching.
And then Sue, she got hit by the shockwave, so that made her invisible.
Yeah.
Very on the nose, like an amateur wrote that. I think it's acceptable that they got hit by the same thing and it just reacted to their bodies, or their bodies reacted differently to it. Perfectly fine.
But I also thought Ben was completely forgotten when they're building all this, and then and they just go back drunk. Hey man, you're coming with me. You promised we're going to do this because I know they get that from the comics.
Well, he's
Ben,
also the pilot. He's just
yeah,
the
because
test
Ben in
engineer.
college said, "You build it, I'll fly it." So Reed did own up to that promise, so that's fine. But then have Ben be a part of the whole process.
Well, I remember thinking when I
He's
was watching,
sleeping.
imagine being Ben Grimm. You see your best friend who's like a super genius off to college. 3 months later, he calls you up drunk in the middle of the night. You show up, you go to the strange place, and your life's over. You turn to a rock monster. In the span of like 3 hours, your life is completely ruined.
Yeah, Ben had every right to be angry at Reed.
Like the poor guy, like he's not involved in any of this. He shows up, and then boom, his life's over.
He's turned into a giant rock.
I want to go back to the people being upset about the astronauts taking over. I don't know why they think astronauts aren't capable. Like, oh, they get the dumb jocks over here to do this exploration. Like, astronauts are incredibly smart people.
They're all very highly qualified engineers.
Yeah, and scientists. So they're not just getting some bozo to go over there. They want trained professionals, and these guys are just scientists.
Training,
Well, they're all
physically
kids.
training their bodies too
Yeah.
to withstand.
I can understand you want to be the first one there, but of course they have to go, a million times dumber and start exploring, and they let me touch the green glowing goo.
And with Doctor Doom, what happens to him is his suit gets melded onto him, essentially. He just looks like this disgusting creature. They can never get him right. It's shocking.
Is it though?
It is. It's amazing how they just keep missing.
Well, I mean, this one was the worst. They didn't make any attempt.
Well, I thought it was funny that bringing Doom back on, because he says, "Why are you bringing Doom back on? He quit and laid fire to all your databases. So why would you bring this guy back on? Trust him." And then Franklin says, "I need his expertise and everything, or he started this project."
Craig, what are you gonna say about? Oh, Johnny. Yeah, he is useless. At least Doom was kind of helping. Johnny was totally.
Well, they said Johnny could build anything.
Yeah, but
Oh, it's great. We have trained professionals that can actually build anything. Not some
You have actual
troublemaker.
scientists.
No, with
Even
all the money
Doom-
they have,
yeah,
you think
even
they have
Doom
to
was kind of a
hire.
scientist.
With all the money they have, they don't have to hire Johnny. They could hire actual trained professionals who aren't going to probably sabotage the project or
All right,
go
Craig, well,
crash his car.
Did any of those trained professionals build a crappy Toyota with their bare hands?
No, they paid someone else to do it.
Like that was his qualification. He built a car from scrap.
I don't know. He doesn't really contribute much. He's there, and then I guess he kind of pushes them to go into the portal. And also too, like towards the end of the movie, he was like, "Oh, he's gonna join the military like Ben." It's like, well, clearly he's a troublemaker and probably needs some sort of, I guess, strong influence in his life. His dad's not helping, so is joining the military really the worst thing for him?
Not in his case.
I feel like it might help him,
It didn't
straighten
even
him
seem
out.
like Ben had a choice. I mean, he definitely didn't, and that was the point. He was just like locked away in a dark, moldy room, his rock lair.
I can see why he was miserable. That's also part of like the tonal problem too, where like at the end, I guess that they reshot that stuff and they're all like buddy buddy. If I'm Ben, I am not buddy buddy with these people. I
I
would
think
hate Reed with a passion.
I would rip Reed in half. I'd kill him because
You,
yeah, in all of the Fantastic Four media, it is so sad that Ben gets the short end of the stick by far. Johnny can fly and turn into fire. Reed can stretch. Sue can turn invisible, and this guy's just a giant rock monster
but
who
in most of
loses
those
a finger.
cases, yeah, but most of those cases, it was kind of like a shared risk where they kind of did something that they kind of knew something goes
Oh
wrong,
yeah,
they'll get their
yeah.
powers.
Ben was
Here
just
was,
dragged into this.
yeah. Then he gets like tortured and captured by the military for some special ops murderer kind of guy.
He doesn't even wear pants.
That's it. Yeah. Why on earth would they make him butt naked, not wearing give him any pants?
Everyone else has an outfit except him.
I mean, I don't understand what they were thinking with that. You don't have to have him naked. Like, is it that hard to CGI some pants onto him?
Yes. I guess it again, it's the realistic quote unquote tone they're going for. Oh, well, he's a giant rock monster. He's not gonna put pants on. All right, bro. It's a comic book movie. I did
don't
think
think
it
it-
was cool, though, that Reed can change his face. I thought that was cool. And he only did it for one scene. We forgot to talk about this movie follows the 2010 trend of superhero movies with the giant blue beam in the sky.
I mean,
after
it's
the
like the least
Avengers,
of its
Man of
worries.
Steel. I know, but they copied that, and it wasn't any good. I think they made Franklin too preachy. Everything he... And I know the movie, it tried to be quote-unquote smart, where they're like, oh, here comes a speech. Everything this guy was saying was the trailer footage, it felt like, for just lines in a trailer. He was full of speeches. Shut up!
Well, the worst is that a lot of them seem to hate on him, and he was usually right with what he was saying.
No, he was right, but everything was a speech.
Well, it
Or
makes it
Doom.
okay when we call it out.
Yes. What are you going to say, Daniel?
Or Doom's on the nose lines. Why should we go to another planet? We're already killing this one. Humans don't deserve another planet. It's like, all right.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. It's just hate for human life.
Why would this be your project? Build a portal, and then you say humans can't be trusted with another planet.
Well, I guess it's that ego where only I can be trusted. I guess that's the logic the
Yeah.
movie was going for. Because I get, if you want to say anything, that is a little bit in the realm of Doom, where he's just some egomaniac.
They had opportunities when they're working together to show Doom being threatened by Richards. They didn't really show that other than him getting jealous of Reed and Sue in that one scene where they're laughing together.
Oh yeah, then he called Reed over like, "Hey, you should be doing work down there."
And then Reed said, it's done.
But he says that too at probably at some point early in the morning, like 1 a.m. I think he's doing enough work where if you're up working at 1 a.m., I think you're getting work done. You're just
Yeah.
goofing off.
She came to him. It's not like he left his workstation to find her.
That too, but most people aren't goofing off at work at 1 a.m.
Yes, yes. You see, the cynic in me would love to see the original Disaster, because I'm sure whatever Josh Trank said, oh, it's going to be a fantastic film. It probably wasn't. Bet you dollars to donuts it wasn't going to be a good movie. It'd probably been more cohesive. You wouldn't have seen Kate Mara's wig. But I would have loved to see the Doctor Doom Online Warrior. That would have been hilarious. The original idea of this movie, or the original script.
He's just spreading hate
I
online.
saw it says in Slater's original script featured Galactus, with Doom depicted as a spy who becomes a herald of Galactus and eventually the dictator of Latveria.
Yeah, but I don't think that was going to be Josh Trank's version. That was the ones he was sabotaging.
That was probably the pitch that Slater did to get onto the movie.
Yeah, but then again, Josh Trank sabotaged his scripts. Not a good guy.
No, I don't even think he's done anything since.
I did look it
This
up. He's
movie.
done one major movie since.
Capone, that's right. I remember hearing about that.
His career was basically over because he was
Well,
studio heads talk.
Yeah, and you self-sabotage. If you make a bad movie, you can almost always, unless it's historically terrible, you can almost always rebound as a director. But if you openly trash your movie, that is unforgivable in the studio's eyes, and they will never hire you.
I mean, not
Unless
just
you-
trash the movie.
Yeah, unless you are physically getting abused, the studio heads bring you into the conference room, they just start beating you up. Unless something like that is happening, you never trash your own movie. It's like the saying, "Captain goes down with the ship." As a director, that's what you have to do. If the movie's bad, you go down with it. You have to admit full responsibility.
But I feel like it's not even just bashing his movies. Like every little thing he did, he made the worst possible decision. He was sabotaging the script, basically lied to them by saying, I'm a huge fan. Actually, I hate the property. I hate superheroes. He is a monster on set, berating everybody, trashing property. Like every little thing he could have done, trashing the movie. One studio's not gonna like that. Why would someone else hire him? Like that guy was such a disaster. I'm not gonna hire him. I'm not gonna make the same mistake Fox did. Because he was supposed to do a Star Wars movie and I think some other stuff, but everyone dropped him. Like, no, sorry, you're radioactive. I'm not gonna work with you.
Yeah, rightfully so. Listen,
Oh yeah,
obviously,
I don't disagree. Just
yeah, obviously on every film set, there's always heated moments and arguments, but you don't berate everybody. Don't do that. Don't destroy a rented property for you that the studio's paying. Don't do that. I'm sure they must have loved the $100,000 bill.
yeah, and they said the studio head had to come out and apologize to the guy because it was so bad.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
surprised they didn't fire him.
Well, they essentially did. They did fire him, and
No,
he
like
wasn't there for the
officially.
reshoots.
Well, I know he wasn't there, but they should have just pulled the plug earlier.
We didn't mention that too. He was basically fired. They replaced him as director with Simon Kinberg.
Another genius, but at least he isn't destructive. I guess that's his only credit.
I'll
See,
say keep
Simon.
getting work.
Yeah, Simon Kinberg is an example of that. The guy makes bad movies, but he always gets another chance.
Well, part of it too, if you just do what you're told, I think they'll appreciate that as opposed to some guy who thinks he's a genius, even though he made one decent movie one time.
Yeah.
Speaking of reshoots, gotta say the wig on Sue Storm looked fantastic.
All right.
So when was the first time you noticed the wig?
I'll have to go back in the movie. It was,
It
like
was
the
after
middle-
it was after the library where her and Reed talk, and
I'd have to go back
and then
look through
and then
it.
the next scene, I think they were all talking together, and she had a full blonde wig because she
Okay,
was in the
'cause-
library with the highlights,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to the full blonde wig.
Yeah, because she naturally has brown hair, and it's highlighted, as Daniel said. So when she has this full blonde wig, you're like, what? Doesn't even match her eyebrows.
I just wanted to see if we all noticed at the same time because I noticed it. I think it's the same scene Daniel was talking about when I think they bring in Doom and Doom meets Reed for the first time.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then obviously when she's talking to her dad, it's towards the middle of the movie, and then the whole third act, she has a wig. Obviously, because they said it was reshot.
What'd you think of minus him being naked? What'd you think of Thing's design?
He didn't really, I mean, I don't know.
How would you compare it to the 2005 look?
Well, the 2005 one was a real thing. It was actually there. No pun intended with the thing. But it was really there. It was tangible. I think what helps with the 2005 one is that he was present more in the story. This one is kind of missing for a good amount. He doesn't really have a personality. He hates Reed. He is a giant rock monster who's miserable. They don't
Yeah.
give him a whole lot to do anything. He's
Yeah.
just there.
It always comes back to the voice too. Like
2005 is the
05
perfect
one.
voice.
Yeah, he
has the
changes his
perfect
voice when he's the thing.
Yeah.
This guy has the exact same voice. Doesn't do it for me.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Okay.
But I want to
Is it-
mention too, the Sue Storm, Kate Mara. I remember she said that she absolutely hated working on this movie, but the reason why she doesn't completely hate it is because she met her husband, which ended up being the thing in the movie. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world
Really?
for her. That's the only reason why she doesn't completely regret the
Wow.
experience.
Good for her.
I remember seeing that years after. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a
married
horrible
to him.
experience, but I met my husband, so I guess it was okay.
Oh, good for her. Nice little trivia.
Also, the character of as a Dr. Allen, he was supposed to be the mole man. And I remember I saw during production that the only villain that Josh Trank identified with was the mole man. Do with that information with what you will, because I think it's very weird. That's the only villain he identified with.
The mole man?
But they changed him during production, so he was no longer the mole man. He was like his own new character because they didn't want to kill off the mole man.
So Doom officially died in this movie, right? It
I
looked
mean,
like
they
it looked
talked
like
about
he died.
sequels, but I don't remember what they were going to plan for a sequel.
He got vaporized by that beam.
You never know. Because this was supposed to start like a new, I guess, jumpstart the Fox brand, Fox Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, that
I think they were
like
planning a
that'll
fantastic.
ever happen.
I think they were planning a Fox X-Men crossover, Fantastic
Oh my
Four
God.
sequel. Yeah, so this movie bombing had a really big effect in the superhero landscape.
Well, it affected everything but Marvel.
Well, no, it affected Marvel because they ended up they sold it because this.
Oh, you mean in
bombed
that
so badly.
sense? In that sense.
Well, it killed the Fox Cinematic Universe. They still made some X-Men movies, but it was essentially done. They ran out of steam with that, and then they sold their rights to Marvel.
Well, they didn't sell their rights. Marvel just absorbed Fox.
Oh, true. Yeah, I misspoke.
Or Disney. Disney absorbed Fox.
Yeah, all because this movie was so bad.
Obviously, I don't know how it all goes on behind the scenes, but it could have been just inevitable that Fox was going to get absorbed by Disney. So maybe this movie, probably it did affect a lot, I'm assuming. It definitely did with the superhero landscape, but who's not to say that this still could have ended up being Disney, or Disney could have still ended up buying Fox at the same time.
Just to think,
True.
just to think, this was at a time when Marvel wasn't tiresome with the lighthearted, funny aspect. How it looks so much better compared to, because what, a year after this came Batman vs Superman, so you had this, and then 2013 was Man of Steel. How much better Marvel was doing with the lighthearted tone.
It wasn't like they went full lighthearted either yet. They were just making better movies, and their competition kept screwing up.
Yeah, they kept on shooting themselves in the foot at any chance they got.
I guess I don't know. They were being dumb. Where instead of trying to copy Marvel, I'm gonna do something the complete opposite with these characters. Oh, it bombed. People don't want to see the complete opposite of the Fantastic Four. That's odd.
Well, I guess for this bombing, I think everybody knew about the production problems and no one just wanted to see it because it just looked terrible.
Well,
Trailer
it's
looked
not
terrible. The movie
just
looks gross. The movie's dark and grim. No pun intended.
it's not the Fantastic Four. I mean, even look at their
Yeah,
suits. They're wearing black, boring suits, and the things running around naked. There's none of that fun sci-fi element to this. These guys are even Fantastic Four to be Marvel's first family. All four of these characters essentially hate each other.
Johnny's the only one that liked Reed, it seemed like.
Maybe a little, but it seems like they hate each other's guts.
it's just
No,
crazy that
Johnny was the nicest, even though it should have been Ben. And Ben hates Reed. That's funny. And I think another surprising thing is that Sue Storm doesn't even go with them. Any schmuck could have been in her position. They would have gotten powers. It could have been Franklin Storm that could have turned invisible. Hers was all happenstance. At least all the other people got their powers from physically being there.
So when they got their powers, from what I remember, was they in that boardroom scene after that 1 year later text overlay? They're talking about how we could the military applications of going to Planet Zero. God, we get superpowers there. It's like, oh, rolling. I was rolling my eyes. It's always the military and the boring military applications for this stuff. There's nothing fantastical about it. They really had to remove everything fun about the Fantastic Four.
And I guess that's what, again, as it's recording, the movie has not come out yet, but it seems like a big emphasis for First Steps is that they're a family. So I guess the movie has that going for it, where everyone looks like they enjoy each other's company. This one,
Because
everyone just looks at each other with disdain.
like, if it wasn't for the fact they were brought together on this project, they probably would never ever want to hang out with each other, except for maybe Reed and Ben.
Yeah, because they're the only ones that know each other. Not even Johnny and Sue look like they like each other. Oh, what other ideas you got cooking over there, Craig?
Because even Planet Zero,
Which was a
it's
reshoot
just
edition, yeah, remember?
the entire thing was.
I think they said the planet, maybe the third act with Planet Zero.
I just meant the look of it. It's because Planet Zero is supposed to be the
Oh,
negative
the
zone.
final battle in Planet Zero was a reshoot.
Okay, yeah, because it's supposed to be the negative zone, but of course, it's just some boring rock with the green goo wasteland, like those
It's
boring
like
thing you can
Mars,
imagine.
but they turned down all the light on Mars.
Even Mars is more interesting. I,
This barren red planet is more visually interesting than Planet Zero.
it's just like again, the movie's just ugly and it strips away what makes the Fantastic Four special. And there's only so ways you can say that, but I don't know why you'd hire this guy who says he hates superheroes and hates
Yeah.
the Fantastic Four to make a Fantastic Four movie.
The 2005, even though that one has problems with Doctor Doom, which, by the way, rest in peace, Julian McMahon or McOwen, I forget how to pronounce his name, but he passed away a couple weeks ago. Even though they didn't get Doom right, they got the Fantastic Four right in that movie. It's not a perfect movie, but they got the dynamics right. This is just... In my mind, it baffles me when you have a predecessor an imperfect predecessor where you could see what went wrong, what went well, and any logical person can take that and build upon it. But here, the geniuses at Fox look at what that movie did and what that movie was, and they make it infinitely worse.
They emphasize what was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, that one is a little cheesy. It's bright, colorful. Let's make it dark. Let's turn down the contrast. Let's make it look like a nightmare. Oh, they all get along together. The chemistry for the cast is fine. Let's just make everyone uncomfortable. No one likes each other. Doctor Doom was not good in this movie. Let's just make him worse. It is just astounding how they can make it worse.
I really question what they were thinking when they decided to hand over all this control to this unknown director. Again, they probably think, oh, we can control him. He's cheaper, but oof, definitely bet on the wrong horse this time.
It's definitely appropriate to say that the studio heads at Fox probably wanted something like Man of Steel, where it's dark and serious.
But why? Avengers made more money.
The Avengers made, I believe, almost or I think it did make double what Man of Steel made. Literally, I think it made Avengers was 1.5 billion and Man of Steel was like 600 and something, 670. It made over double what that made. So you would think you'd want to copy the Avengers, and it's the show business. It's okay to be shameless and steal some ideas. Everyone does it.
That was stealing ideas. It's just saying adapt them properly.
Well, I'm just saying, like the
Yeah, I
model,
know.
steal the model of how
I
they
mean,
do
look at Friday
movies.
the 13th. Turned into a beautiful franchise off of a blatant theft of Halloween. I wouldn't say theft, but blatant try to rip off of it.
This is true. Yeah.
They all seem to hate each other. I always felt like the Fantastic Four, they're called Marvel's first family. And I feel like, first off, some of them are family, but even if they didn't get the powers, you think they'd still be a family. The Greed would still marry Sue. Johnny is Sue's sister, and Ben Grimm is the best man. He's Reed's best friend. At least that's how I imagine, right? They'd still be a family with or without the superpowers. I don't know why they'd make everyone hate each other.
How dare you
'Cause
care about source material?
Because even the line at the end where they're trying to be like jokey, they couldn't even get that part right. I mean, the dialogue was bad. They're trying to come up with a team name, and Johnny goes, "How about the two guys, the girl, and the thing nobody wanted?" It's like,
What was
where's this
it?
vitriol
The
coming
thing in
from?
his neurons?
The Brainiac and his neurons.
Brainiac in his neurons, right. And then Johnny said, no, I think Johnny's was the worst. He's like the torch and the torchettes. It's like, oof. Who wrote this?
I'd just be like Johnny ragging on Ben. Like they don't have that kind of chemistry. I don't think they even talk to each other in the movie up until that point.
Yeah.
Because we like to think we know their history with each other, where Johnny kind of jabs at Ben, and they jab at each
Yeah,
other
they
like
had that in the
bickering
05
brothers.
one. Everybody knew each other before the events of the movie. It's hard to do that when everyone is introduced to each other in the movie, too. At least in the 05 one. Again, off screen, they all knew each other beforehand. And they all look just so uncomfortable with each other. And I know that at the end, Josh Trank did not direct that. So whoever that was, either, I think maybe I saw somewhere Matthew Vaughn was directing this, or maybe it was Simon Kinberg. But they just had no energy behind them. And of course, that's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Craig, did you mention this earlier, or was this before we started recording? You said the way Reed turns to Ben, like he just heard the greatest idea ever.
'Cause I
Like
remember
he was in
rewatching
awe. He's like,
The look
"Oh."
he gives too is meme worthy. Not just the line, but the look he gives. See that again. I know they gave us so many great ones. Like Doctor Doom over here.
Dr. Doom over here.
It's just such a bad movie, and it's the worst kind of bad too. Where we can't like laugh at it like some of these other bad movies. It's boring. It's
Yeah.
so boring and depressing.
It's not like an iGirlfriend that we talked about or Expelled. It's not like that. Where you could poke fun at the ideas and the execution and peg. But this one, it's just depressing to watch. It's not that engaging. Because at least the other ones, you have fun watching it. Even you know it's bad, but you still, like I said, you like poking fun at it. This one, you're just like, ugh. And then you know about the behind the scenes issues, how Josh Trank was just a nightmare, and then you're thinking, oh my god, this is just uncomfortable watching.
Also, too, how dark it was, the movie, visually. It's
Yeah,
putting me to sleep while
Man of
watching it.
Steel.
Even the ending fight.
Yeah, you can. Well, that was a rush job too. That was a reshoot.
they ever say who they were gonna fight in the sequel?
I assume Galactus.
I don't
Probably
know.
the easy grab.
You can make these same exact one as the '07. Because I know they talked about just having their own. Because they had photo shoots too. I think it was the same style of the monster, the Dark Universe,
Oh
where they
my
had like those
God.
photo shoots, like the gray background. I think they had like the new X-Men cast and the new Fantastic Four cast, and then, like that
Oh, I do
promo
remember
shoot.
that. Yeah, there's some chairs there, and they're all just posing. I do remember that photo, Craig. I
It's like
remember
the
it.
photo of death. Anytime you have those kinds of photo shoots, your cinematic universe tanks.
Yeah, I don't know if they said. I think the movie bombed so much so early that they knew immediately that they were not going to do a sequel. So maybe there probably weren't even any plans.
Yeah, it could be all talk to, like they say we're making a sequel to make the investors happy,
Yeah,
keep them invested,
they definitely
keep the stock up.
floated around the idea of a sequel, and I think they put it on their release slate for 2017 before the movie is done filming, or maybe even before the movie, because they were just expecting a hit. And then when it bombs critically, commercially, they quietly took it off immediately.
So the Baxter Building, did they just collect child geniuses for their little science fair projects?
I guess they just go around to high schools at their science fairs and recruit people.
It's even weirder when the Baxter Building's in New York, and you think they would have heard about the boy in Queens or wherever Oyster
I
Bay
think it's,
is.
yeah, Oyster Bay, Long Island.
Yeah, this guy who's like making teleporters in his garage. You think they would have recruited him sooner, but I guess not.
Anything else you guys want to say? Any final thoughts for Fantastic Four 2015, Craig?
It's called Fan Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick 2015?
No, like we said, it's really bad. We're not breaking new ground. Everyone knows it's bad.
Yeah.
No real point in watching this unless you're extremely curious.
If you're having a bad day and want to feel worse and go to sleep, watch this movie.
Yeah, I agree. What's there to really say? Everyone's been trashing on this movie for 10 years, so let's see how Fantastic Four First Steps does. Again, as this recording, the movie has not come out yet. So when this episode comes out, the movie will be out. We'll see the reviews. But until then, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
Craig.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Dr. Doom over here.
Dr. Doom over here.
And we will see you next time for Fantastic Four First Steps.